from New York. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu sacks CDS Musa, replaces him with Oluyede. ASU suspends 2-week warning strike. Plus, Trump demolishes part of White House for new ballroom. Details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and many thanks for staying tuned. We begin the news within the week from the national scene where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made changes in the hierarchy of the service chiefs in furtherance of the efforts of the federal government of Nigeria to strengthen the national security architecture. This was contained in a statement by his special advisor on media and public communication, Sunday Dare, on Friday in Abuja. According to the statement, Tinubu named Olufemi Oluyede as the new Chief of Defense Staff, replacing Christopher Musa. Also, W. Shaibu as the new Chief of Army Staff, while S.K. Aneke takes over from Chief of Air Chief, while One Abbas is the new Naval Chief. But EAP Udiandeye remains unchanged as the Chief of Defense Intelligence. The President commended the outgoing service chiefs for their patriotic service and dedicated leadership, while urging the new appointees to justify the confidence reposed in them and to uphold professionalism, vigilance and unity that define the armed forces of Nigeria. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu within the week approved an unconditional grant of 250,000 naira for each outstanding micro, small and medium enterprise exhibiting at the expanded National MSME Clinic in Katsina State. The Vice President Kashim Shettima announced the grant on Monday during the inauguration of the 9th edition of the MSME Clinic, designed to support businesses and to stimulate economic activity across local communities. He said the federal government established the expanded MSME Clinic to bring services closer to entrepreneurs and foster innovation, employment and access to resources through direct engagement with key institutions. He noted that through the clinic, MSMEs could access regulatory bodies like the CAC, NAFDAC and SMDNA, as well as banks including the Bank of Industry, to resolve pressing business challenges. And in the meantime, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has joined family, friends and well-wishers nationwide in celebrating former head of state General Yakubu Gowon on his 91st birthday. In a statement marking the milestone, President Tinubu praised General Gowon for his patriotism, visionary leadership and lasting contributions to Nigeria's unity, peace and development. The president also acknowledged the former military ruler's continued counsel on national march matters, describing it as invaluable to the growth and stability of the country. Meanwhile, President Tinubu within the week directed that a new state-of-the-art auditorium be built at the Nigerian Law School to further enhance legal education infrastructure. The Federal Capital Territory's Minister, Nyesom Wike, announced this in Abuja while flagging off the construction of a 600-bed student hostel at the Abuja campus of the institution in Wari. Wike explained that the president's directive followed an observation that the anticipated increase in students' intake occasioned by the building of the new hostel necessitated a review of the existing lecture facilities. The minister added that the intervention demonstrated President Tinubu's commitment to enhancing the nation's legal education and its infrastructure. Away from that, the federal government, through the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, on Tuesday received at least 147 stranded Nigerians from Libya as part of the ongoing Assisted Voluntary Return Initiative, supported by the International Organization for Migration, IOM. NEMA, in a statement via its verified X handle, said the returnees arrived at the cargo terminal of Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, aboard an Air Libya airline flight at about 5:15 p.m. on October 21st, 2025. The agency stated that the operation was coordinated by the agency's Lagos Operation Office in conjunction with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. It added that the returnees comprised 100 adults, 32 males and 68 females, 34 children, 18 males and 16 females, and 13 infants, 5 males and 8 females. And from the Red Chambers, the Senate has approved a bill to establish the Nigerian Mines Rangers Service, a special agency that would help tackle illegal mining and improve security in mining communities across the country. The decision followed the adoption of a report by the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, chaired by Senator Ekong Samson. During Tuesday's plenary presenting the report, Senator Sampson said the new agency would provide a structured framework to monitor mining activities, enforce environmental and safety laws, and ensure sustainable mining practices. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio, who presided over the session, said the proposed service would strengthen existing mining laws and bring sanity to the sector. Meanwhile, the Senate within the week unanimously passed the groundbreaking bill that mandates life imprisonment for anyone found guilty of defiling a minor, with no option for fines. This decisive move marks a significant step towards protecting the rights and safety of children across the nation. The proposal, which is part of sweeping amendment to Criminal Code Act under the Criminal Code Act Amendment Bill 2025, is a concurrent bill initially passed by the House of Representatives. Leading the debate on the bill, Senate Leader Okpeyemi Bamidele said the amendment seeks to strengthen child protection laws and eliminate gender discrimination in prosecution of sexual offences. The offence of defilement, which currently attracts a 5-year jail term, would now carry life imprisonment under the proposed amendment. In addition to life imprisonment for defiling minors, the Senate also proposed a 10-year jail term for rape, defined as the act of forcing a boy, girl, man or woman to have sex without their consent, whether in a brothel or any other premises. And still from the Red Chambers now, where the Senate confirmed the appointment of Aminu Yusuf from Niger State as the chairman of the National Population Commission, NPC. The upper chamber also confirmed the appointment of Joseph Haruna Kibu from Nasarawa State and Tonga Betara Bulafara from Yobe State as commissioners for the NPC. The confirmation by the Senate was sequel to the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on National Identity and National Population by its chairman, Senator Victor Ume, Labour Party, Anambra Central. Ume explained that the committee requested relevant documents including curriculum vitae, code of conduct, clearance certificates, police reports, and DSS clearance before the screening commenced. Meanwhile, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, within the week urged world leaders to renew their commitment to humanitarian duty and moral responsibility in confronting global suffering. Akpabio made the call during the humanitarian session of the 151st Inter-Parliamentary Union IPU Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland. In a speech delivered on his behalf by Senator Osita Ungu, he stated that the true measure of a nation's greatness lies not in its wealth or military might, but in its compassion and dedication to protecting the vulnerable. The Senate President noted that Nigeria continues to uphold its humanitarian and constitutional obligations through the establishment of institutions such as the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, the National Emergency Management Agency, and the National Commission for Refugees and Internally Displaced Persons. He called on global leaders to place peace above conflict, warning that wars only lead to generational devastation. And to the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives within the week passed a resolution to safeguard strategic private investments in Nigeria from future industrial actions. This follows the recent strike action by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, over its disputes with the Dangote refinery. The resolution was adopted after a motion jointly sponsored by Ado Doguwa and Absu Samad Dasuki was presented on the floor of the House. The lawmakers in the motion stressed that the Dangote refinery is located within a free trade zone, FTZ, and as such, the strike action allegedly violated provisions of the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority, NEPSA, and its act. And in the meantime, the House of Representatives within the week resolved to investigate the $460 million Chinese loan secured by President Goodluck Jonathan's administration to procure and install closed-circuit televisions in strategic locations within the Federal Capital Territory to enhance security in the nation's capital. The resolution of the House followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by the member representing Isukwa, Umune Ochi Federal Constituency, Abia State, Amobi, Oga, during Wednesday's plenary. Recorded in 2010, the federal government took a loan of $460 million to install CCTV cameras in the FCT, but the project was not executed. The Ninth House in 2019, through its Committee on Finance, took the Ministry of Finance to task on the status of the project and the failure to execute the project. On judicial matters, the Supreme Court on Wednesday reserved judgment in a suit challenging the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in March. A 7-man panel led by Justice Inyang Okoro adjourned after parties in the suit adopted their processes. The plaintiff in the suit are the Attorney General of 10 states, while the defendants in the suit is the federal government and the National Assembly. At the day's proceeding, the 5th plaintiff, Delta State, withdrew from the suit, which was not opposed by the counsel for the federal government, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN. While adopting his process, counsel to the plaintiffs, Eyitayo Jegede, SAN, who represented the plaintiffs, noted that their case was not a denial of the president's power to proclaim a state of emergency, but to challenge the extent to which the proclamation can be made to affect the offices of the governor, deputy governor, and the State House of Assembly. In a separate development, the Nigerian Customs Service within the week took a major step towards modernizing its operations with the official launch of the Customs Verification Management System, a digital platform designed to enable Nigerians verify the clearance and duty payment status of imported vehicles within minutes. Unveiling the platforms at the Customs headquarters in Abuja, the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, said the initiative represents a bold step in the service's ongoing reform drive aimed at improving transparency, accountability and efficiency in custom operations. According to him, the new verification system was developed in partnership with the Trade Modernization Project, an indigenous technology firm, to address long-standing challenges associated with vehicle clearance and documentation. Adeniyi explained that the system was built to empower citizens, importers and dealers with verifiable data while helping custom officers eliminate manual bottlenecks, standardize operations across commands and strengthen enforcement capabilities. In another development, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has officially opened its student loan application portal for the 2025/2026 academic session. The loan is expected to provide financial support for students across tertiary institutions in Nigeria. This is contained in a statement issued on Tuesday by NELFund's Director of Strategic Communications, Osheyemi Oluwatuyi. The agency said the application window will run from Thursday, October 23rd to Saturday, January 31st, 2026. It urged fresh students to apply using their admission number or JAM registration number in place of a matriculation number. Meanwhile, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, within the week, suspended its 2-week warning strike with immediate effect, following progress in some of its demands. ASU's President Christopher Piwuna announced the suspension of the strike on Wednesday at ASU's National Secretariat at the University of Abuja. He said that the suspension followed progression in talks with government officials concerning their outstanding issues. Reacting to the news of the suspension, some lecturers and students of the University of Uyo commended the union for the suspension, stressing that it will help them meet up with the academic calendar. Recall that the union declared a 2-week warning strike on October 12 to press home its demands, which includes the renegotiation of the 2009 ASU federal government agreement, sustainable funding of public universities, revitalization of universities, and an end to alleged victimization of ASU members in Lagos State University, LASU, Prince Abubakar Audu University, KSU, and the Federal University of Technology, FUTO. The payment of outstanding 25 to 35% salary arrears, settlement of promotion arrears spanning over 4 years, and the remittance of outstanding third-party deductions. And back here, as the world marked World Polio Day on Friday, Rotarian Akan Emma has emphasized the importance of sustaining immunization efforts to completely eradicate polio, especially among children. Speaking during an interview on the program Wellbeing on Spectrum Television, Emma explained that polio, also known as poliomyelitis, is a highly infectious viral disease that primarily affects young children, leading to paralysis and, in severe cases, death. He noted that although Nigeria has been certified polio-free, continuous vaccination is essential to prevent any resurgence of the virus.
Symptoms: low fever, sore throat, severe limb pain, it brings paralysis, and that's why, you would see many children dying having paralysis. It was simple polio. It was just simple polio, nothing more. The oral polio vaccination is safe for the children. Common signs, symptoms: low fever, sore throat, severe limb pain, it brings paralysis, and that's why, you would see many children dying having paralysis. It was simple polio. It was just simple polio, nothing more. The oral polio vaccination is safe for the children. common signs,
Rotarian
symptoms.
Emma also highlighted the role of Rotary International in the global fight against polio through sustained awareness, funding and partnership with health organizations like the World Health Organization, WHO and UNICEF. He further debunked some of the myths around polio and oral vaccination.
That when they get their children immunized, they become what?
Sick.
Fever,
Yes.
they have fever. Every vaccination, even measles vaccination, every vaccination that a mother takes a child to must have the child temperature must be affected. But after a day or two, the child returns to normalcy, you know. So it's a normal thing. But vaccination pays. Vaccination pays. That's why as a child, you know, when a child is born in a hospital, that child has a card. And in that card, they will inform the mother the kind of vaccinations or immunizations or medication to take, you know, the days to bring the child back for that. All those things are in that card. So it pays. So we come from a society where there is a lot of myths, but forget those myths.
World Polio Day, which is observed annually on October 24th, serves as a reminder that collective action and commitment are vital to achieving a polio-free world. And still to come in the news. The federal government moves to recover unremitted funds before April. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned and welcome back to Spectrum News Within the Week. Continuing now from Africa, where Madagascar's new head of state, Michael Randrianrena, has named Hairy Salama Rajaonavelo as the civilian prime minister following a military takeover last week. Recall that Army Colonel Michael Randrianrena, who announced that the military had taken over power after Rajoelina was impeached for desertion of duty following weeks of protest, was sworn in as president. According to reports, following consultations with the National Assembly, Randrianrena chose Hairy Salama Rajaonavelo as the new prime minister. Meanwhile, Uganda's Electoral Commission has said that January 15 has been set as the final date for the country's general elections. 81-year-old President Yoweri Museveni, who has been in power since 1986, is seeking re-election in the polls. But critics have accused his government of political opponents, human rights abuses, and corruption scandals. Meanwhile, 6 other candidates from smaller parties are also standing in the presidential race. Ugandans will also be electing members of parliament on the set date. And still in Africa, Morocco's finance ministry within the week submitted to Parliament its 2026 draft budget totaling more than 760 billion dirhams, up to 5.5% from a year ago. The government expects economic growth to slightly slow to 4.6% next year from 4.8% in 2025. Morocco will allocate 140 billion dirhams to health and education in the 2026 budget, a 16% increase compared to last year. Meanwhile, the office of King Mohammed VI said Kingdom would create 27,000 public sector jobs in these two areas. On the foreign scene, Sanae Takaichi within the week won an historic vote to become Japan's first female prime minister. The 64-year-old conservative is known as Japan's Iron Lady. Reports say this is her third attempt at becoming the Japanese leader, and she is the fourth prime minister in 5 years from her scandal-hit party, LDP. Takaichi belongs to the Liberal Democratic Party's hardline wing and is a protege of the late former prime minister Shinzo Abe. And still on the foreign scene, parts of the White House East Wing have been demolished as construction begins on U.S. President Donald Trump's new ballroom construction, and crews have been torn down in massive chunks of a covered entryway and windows in the East Wing, which Trump said is being fully modernized. Recall that the president previously said that $250 million White House ballroom addition would be near the existing structure but would not change it. Trump announced the construction in a social media post saying ground has been broken on the much-needed ballroom space. Meanwhile, North Korea fired multiple ballistic missiles on Thursday, its first such launch in months, just a week before world leaders, including U.S. President Donald Trump, descend on South Korea for a summit. Seoul's Joint Chief of Staff said it had detected several projectiles believed to be short-range ballistic missiles. According to Seoul's military, the missiles were fired around 8:10 a.m. on Thursday from an area south of the capital, Pyongyang. Reports say the launch was the first of its kind since South Korean President Lee Jae-myung took office in June. Trump has said he hopes to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un possibly this year, following several meetings during the Republican president's first term. Moving over to business, the federal government within the week commenced a nationwide revenue recovery exercise aimed at boosting inflows into the Federation account and plugging financial leakages across key revenue-generating agencies. A statement signed by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission RMAFC Head of Information and Public Relations Unit, Miriam Yusuf, indicated that the initiative is part of efforts to enhance fiscal transparency, strengthen accountability and ensure that all statutory revenues due to the Federation are duly remitted. In his remarks, the RMAFC chairman reaffirmed the Commission's determination to strengthen Nigeria's fiscal governance and ensure that all revenues due to the Federation are fully accounted for and remitted into the Federation account. He explained that the engagement of consultants was a strategy aimed at plugging revenue leakages, enhancing transparency, and boosting the capacity of the three tiers of government in alignment with renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And still in business, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Enikin Lukwobiri, has said Nigeria will demand a higher oil production quota at the next meeting in Abuja during an interview with reporters with Industry Act and the establishment of the commission. He said the country's current quota, pegged at about 1.5 million barrels per day, no longer reflecting its true production capacity. According to him, the upcoming OPEC meeting provides an opportunity for Nigeria to make a strong case for an upward review to at least 2 million barrels per day. Meanwhile, the Naira on Wednesday appreciated to 1,492 Naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,495 Naira per dollar on Tuesday, but the Naira depreciated to 1,462 Naira per dollar in the Nigerian foreign exchange market, NAFEM. Data published by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, showed that the exchange rate for the Naira rose to 1,462 Naira per dollar from 1,464 Naira per dollar on Tuesday, indicating 2.5 appreciation for the Naira. Consequently, the margin between the parallel. And still in business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited within the week suffered a drop in both production and earnings, losing about 380 billion naira in September 2025 when compared to the previous month. According to its latest monthly performance report, figures from September report showed that the company's total revenue stood at 4.27 trillion naira, lower than the 4.65 trillion naira posted in August, representing a month-on-month loss of about 380 billion naira. Profit after tax also declined from 535 billion naira in August to 216 billion naira in September. The report indicated that total crude oil and condensate production averaged 1.61 million barrels per day in September compared to 1.65 million barrels per day in August. And still to come in the news. Nottingham Forest appoints Sean Ditch as new manager. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned and welcome back to Spectrum News Within the Week. We continue from the scene of health where the Plant Treatment Oasis Association of Nigeria, a body of professional biochemists, has called on the federal government to formally integrate herbal and alternative medicine into the country's healthcare system to improve the well-being of Nigerians. Speaking with journalists after the association's 2025 conference in Abuja, the group's president Oluyede said that Nigeria stands to benefit greatly from the medicinal potential of natural plant-based supplements, which he said are effective in treating a wide range of health conditions without side effects. According to Ikotu, the association has invested in extensive research and the development of natural medicinal products that have proven effective in managing conditions such as fibroids, piles, and other chronic ailments. He stressed the need for the government to formally recognize and support the role of herbal treatments, particularly as a complementary option in the nation's healthcare system. And still in health, the wife of Ogun State Governor Bamidele Abiodun within the week said that the state government plans to offer free cancer screening for 10,000 women restorative efforts, adding that launching the clinic during Breast Cancer Awareness Month was significant because breast cancer remains the most common cancer amongst women worldwide, while it accounts for roughly 1 in 4 cancer cases among Nigerian women. And now to sports, where Nottingham Forest have appointed former Burnley and Everton boss Sean Dyche as the new manager. The 54-year-old Englishman, who has signed a contract to run until the summer of 2027, becomes the Forest's third different boss this season. Dyche succeeds Angel Postecoglou, who lasted just 39 days and was sacked 17 minutes after Saturday's 3-0 defeat by Chelsea in the Premier League. Dyche's first game will be a Europa League game at the home to Porto on Thursday before Forest faces Bournemouth in the Premier League on Sunday. And still in sport, the Super Eagles will open camp for the 2026 FIFA World Cup playoffs on Sunday, November 9th. This will be 5 days before they open their playoffs campaign against the Panthers of Gabon. The venue of the game is yet to be named by the Confederation of African Football, CAF. Meanwhile, head coach Eric Schell is expected to release his squad for the game. Cameroon will face Gabon in the other semi-final. The overall winners will advance to the Intercontinental Playoffs in March in Mexico. For the 2025 CAF Men's Player of the Year award, the Galatasaray striker won the prestigious award in 2023. Osimhen will battle 9 other players for the individual accolade. The other nominees are Mohamed. Recall that Atalanta winger Nigeria's Ademola Lookman won the award last year. On our entertainment news, Nigerian singer and entrepreneur Oluwatosin Ajibade, popularly known as Mr. Easy, has revealed his new profession. The skin-tight crooner shared that he is now focused on online streaming. He disclosed this while responding to a fan who asked whether he has dished music for content creation. And lastly, in the news within the week, Big Brother Naija Season 10 winner Imisi has shared her struggle with adapting to the demands of fame, noting the constant expectation to maintain a glamorous appearance. Speaking at a recent public event, the reality star revealed that transitioning into life as a public figure has not been easy, emphasizing that one of the biggest challenges is having to wear makeup frequently. Imisi explained that she dislikes having products on her face or body hair, noting that she has a natural and simple look. However, as a public figure, she now feels the pressure to maintain a polished appearance. We have for you on the news at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News Within the Week. I am Rita Inong. Enjoy the rest of your day.